And that's what I have, a design from the master of disaster himself, Andrew Demko, under his own line of knives, the Freereign in MagnaCut. If you're new to the knife world, Andrew Demko has had a hand in creating some of the most iconic knife designs known to man, and some of the toughest and most reliable locking mechanisms you can find on pocket knives, including the triad locking mechanism that you'll find on many cold steel pocket knives that I have personally batoned with, slammed on, and are basically indestructible.
Rock solid, baby. Oh my gosh.
As well as his more recent innovation of the Shark lock, which is a spine lock that is just as fast as any crossbar lock. Now I know there's been a lot of anticipation by many of you in the audience for this video. So you can expect in this video to not only have us discuss how MagnaCut holds up on this tool, how the profile performs overall, because you can find it also in a more budget-friendly AUS 10 version of this knife, but I'm also gonna run it up against some old classics like the Cold Steel Master Hunter and Cold Steel SRK. So thanks for joining me today. I'm Aaron, this is Gideon's Tactical. Let's dive on in. Now, since there are different steel variants, let's address how the blade profile performs first before we'll dive into how the MagnaCut steel performs versus AUS 10 and just the nuances there. The blade length from handle to tip is 5 inches, cutting edge is 4.75, give or take, coming in at right around 7 ounces. At 3/16 of an inch thick, you're getting a good robust stock, but unlike other tools that we're gonna look at in a little bit, you're getting a very high flat grind, almost all the way up, definitely 3/4 of the way. And it's into this, I've been calling it this like combo grind, where you get basically the last portion is a full flat up there. Better for on the tip if you're doing like some food prep, then a flat grind or saber grind performs. So what that means is the edge geometry works to give it still a lot of strength at 3/16, but much better slicing capability than a lot of other field knives that are out there with lower flat grinds. So there could be, you could argue, a little bit of trade-off in durability, but it accentuates the cutting capability. And at this size of a knife, I way prefer the cutting capability, which was outstanding. The relief edge is so well dialed in on this tool that it was easy to do very fine work if you're doing woods-working tasks. And this drop point design, almost into a spear point, I'm gonna say that's almost a spear point design blade, really allows you to get a lot of tasks done. It's not overly excessive in the belly, eliminating some of its piercing capability, but doesn't compromise in just giving you basically a stabbing knife, and still gives you the ability to do this crossover, self-defense, piercing if needed, but plenty of real estate on that belly and edge to do all sorts of utility, regardless if it's around your campsite, preparing a fire, doing some notching. The flat spine on the back is excellent to rest your thumb and get those push cuts to do a notch, but also be able to be robust enough to break down kindling as long as you can span it, you know, 5 inches. We're talking probably realistically like about 3 inches in diameter that you could span, but you can do side notching, all sorts of pounding on that spine, and you're gonna be able to do the work and then still, you know, cut through cordage. And, you know, I have a 7,000 pound, what's called toe strap. You know, you could gnaw through that without much difficulty, seatbelt, whatever it is. So if you were gonna use this on a deployment, it would have a lot of crossover field tool, field knife capability. And really the only area where I saw it lag is in the camp kitchen. Now it performs better than say the SRK or say a Gerber strong arm of similar idea and profile in the tool, but a full flat grind with a thinner stock will just be more ideal for food prep. So how about the juice? This CPM MagnaCut steel. And as we're discovering whether or not this tool is worth throwing in rotation, I can tell you one piece of kit that I take with me every time I hit the backcountry, and they're today's sponsor, which is Zoleo and their satellite communication device. And they got a screaming deal going on through September 17th, which is $50 off the device itself, plus a 6-month free membership to the Gaia GPS premium service. And with hunting season upon us, this gives you the ultimate adventure duo with Zoleo's seamless global global messaging via the Iridium satellite network, progressive SOS alerting with 24/7 monitoring and response, check-ins with an easy push of a button, as well as sharing your GPS location with any message sent. Paired with Gaia's offline maps and navigation, giving you the ability to discover hikes, plan trips, and navigate and record data. And that's just scratching the surface of the capabilities of the Zoleo satellite communicator. So I'll have a link in the description below this video where you can hop on over there, see all of its capabilities, and score yourself a great deal during this limited time offer. This version made in the USA. The AUS-10 versions are made in Taiwan, which I'm totally okay with. Taiwan is our ally. They do excellent knife work over there. The SRK, the Master Hunter from Cold Steel, those have been made in Taiwan for years, so I have zero issue with that. Now, MagnaCut, what makes it so different than many other tools is that it's able, or steels on tools, it's able to balance the 3 pillars of steel very well. Toughness, edge retention, and rust resistance. Usually a knife steel will have to sacrifice one to get better at the other. So if a knife is very tough, it usually doesn't have very good edge retention. If it's maybe rust resistant, has good edge retention, it's usually not very tough. MagnaCut is able to walk that and balance itself very well on all 3 categories, giving you toughness like CPM 4V steel, but also giving you rust resistance like CPM 20 CV or M390 level rust resistance, and still giving you good edge retention. So it's able to do all of that well. Now, if you want crazy toughness, CPM 3V is going to be a tougher knife steel. If you want insane edge retention, Maximate is going to hold its edge longer than MagnaCut will, but MagnaCut is able to bring both of those together and give us a really well-rounded stainless steel that will outperform many on the market in many different categories. Now, if this knife was 7 inches, CPM 3V would probably be a better choice in the steel, because you'd just be putting it through harder tasks and you'd want that toughness all the way through the blade. But for this more compact 5-inch size, MagnaCut is in that premium realm, giving us a lot of capability for this size range. And guys, throughout this video, if you're enjoying this type of content, I invite you to hit that like button. It really does help us move up in the rankings. And if you're not yet a subscriber, I invite you to consider subscribing to the channel, making sure to hit that bell icon so that you can be notified every week when I put up new content, giving you guys breakdowns on gear and equipment to help you better stay equipped and prepared for whatever life throws your way. Now to the sheath. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. It's square. It's square, man. So the style leaves a little bit to be desired just because it's like kind of bulky. Having something a little more streamlined probably would have been more ideal. I get what was attempting to do, and there is some effort put in. I mean, you get this topo pattern on that black nylon core, which it specifically says in the description, designed to not dull your knife. So the material, the polymer, is designed that if you do rub your blade edge up against it every once in a while, it's not going to cause damage, where a lot of like glass reinforced nylon sheaths do that. So that's, I mean, awesome that Andrew Demko designed it that way and thought through that process. Now, the tension is great. A little bit of blade slap, but excellent. I mean, you don't even really need that button snap strap right there. It's almost not even necessary. Now, the black nylon core is trimmed by green or whatever handle color, like outer portion. Now, this is not like you can take the green off and then you have like the slimmer sheath in there. It completely then comes apart. It's pancaked together. The screws hold it together. You know, there's some thoughtfulness in it. It's not just like, hey, here's a black sheath, enjoy. You know, so, I mean, there's some cool factor to it. It's just big. It's really bulky there. So it would have been nice, just in my opinion, to have something a little more streamlined, I guess. That, you know, nice webbing, button snap with Velcro on the back, ambidextrous, you unscrew it, swap it each way, pop that button snap off, good retention on the thumb ramp, pull it right out, ready to rock and roll. So the handle design is really unique to a rubberized overmolded handle. I mean, we see this profile a lot in fixed blades with handle scales, but you know, a lot of times you just see like this, like the SRK on overmolded knives. And what's different is it's rectangular as well, versus the SRK and knives like it are gonna be more like square or rounded. This is more rectangular. So you have a thickness right here and it stays true throughout, doesn't taper either anywhere, of like 0.7 on the thickness, but then you have a good height to it right there. And at like 4.875, plenty of real estate on the back end there. That rubber overmold on that full tank construction comes all the way through, doesn't slim down, it's exposed on the back, linear hole. Great rubberized guard with a little cut in for good indexing, but it's not thin anywhere in there, so you're really locked in. It's like flubber, man, just like around your hand there. And what I really like is the like diamond pattern kind of texture on the sides, but then it's nice and smooth and rounded like a smoothie right there, so it feels great. So the pressure points, there's no texture, but on the sides, there's the texture. So I mean, you are just so locked in. Ergonomically, I wouldn't say it's like a true bushcraft level handle, but it gives you a crossover capability for harder, you know, field craft, tactical use, if you will, but easily gives you excellent comfort for extended woodworking tasks. Excellent balance point right there behind the guard, and just the mildest of grooves. I wouldn't even really call that jimping. It's not sharp or hot at all. Now, I bought the MagnaCut version for $200 when it was released. It is currently out of stock. I know that they're going to have a second run coming near the end or beginning of 2023 into 2024 batch that they do of MagnaCut. So just know that one, the MagnaCut's not available. When it does drop, I mean, it's like gone super fast. The AUS 10 version is currently available with black handle or blue handle. Those are going on sale for like $130 currently at BLADEHQ. I'll have links below where you can check out what the options are. And they also have a Tanto edged version if you wanted to have more of a tactical feel. Those do exist as well. So we'll run in competitive options with some of the cold steels and talk, you know, value a little bit later. Before we leave the blade though, the one kind of hang up is no 90-degree spine. You're not gonna be able to strike a ferro rod anywhere on this. It's got around the spine, not the end of the world. I wouldn't call this a true bushcraft knife, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I usually just use the striker on my ferro rod anyway, but it's a nice feature to have when you can, and you'd have to throw this up against a sander to get a 90-degree edge. Now, how does the Freereign stack up in competitive options with just performance and also value? Now, I have the Master Hunter and the SRK, which is I'm gonna be comparing it to because it's pretty obvious. It's kind of a hybrid of both of those knives. It's about a ½ inch longer than the Master Hunter, but then has kind of more the blade profile and style of the SRK. When you look at the Samurai version, that's gonna be about $105, and if you look at the 3V version, which is what I have here, it's gonna be about $140. Now, 3V steel is an excellent steel. To say it's not necessary on such a compact knife like this, it'll definitely be tougher than the MagnaCut and the AUS 10 on the Freereign. And at about the same stock thickness, sorry, stumbling over my words there. The full flat grind on the Master Hunter is definitely gonna be better for food prep, arguably hunting, and just general camp tasks. It's just pure edge geometry. It's just the way it's gonna work. And stunning that at least on the 3V version, the Master Hunter has actually a thicker tip than the Freereign. Now that means it may not be quite as precise in the tip area, but for general camp tasks, the blade profile, you can argue, is going to be slightly higher performing. But on the flip side, not gonna be as capable in piercing and not quite as strong in more hard use tasks that the saber grind has on the Freereign and that more aggressive drop point. And when you look at it compared to the SRK, the VG, the Samurai VG, I believe it's 1 still, is coming in like around 120, I think, 130. And then the CPM 3V version that I have here is coming in around 200, matching the cost of the MagnaCut version. Now, for this size of knife, I would start to lean more towards the 3V steel as a choice just because of the more toughness and durability. And if we're going to war, I feel like I would gravitate more to the SRK. But if I wanted a lot of that capability but better camp performance, then I would go with the Freereign. And so that's where it sits. It's kind of this hybrid, and if that's what you want, then that's absolutely what it's gonna perform at. But you'll have to determine for yourself if a hybrid design design is really what you are looking for, and if so, it's extremely capable, kind of giving you the best of both worlds, or is it better to go with a dedicated tactical knife or a dedicated camp knife? I hope this video has helped you better determine for yourself what the capabilities and limitations of the Freereign design are for you and whether or not it's the right tool. I appreciate you guys so much for coming over today. I invite you to leave a comment below, leave your thoughts. I look forward to answering them as best I can. When you guys leave those comments, I invite you to check out the other video popping up and to subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.